Good morning from Hong Kong. I'm on my way to work, and the first video I actually saw this morning when I woke up around 6 a.m. is by Theo and Harris, who were reacting to something they saw on Instagram. Someone who who says that they have seen a memo from Rolex saying that Rolex would be cutting by 60% the production of the Pepsi, or at least the Pepsi bezel, GMT Master 2. And so this is third-hand news, if you will, reaction to the reaction. But actually it got me thinking about a few things and about the Pepsi itself, which I think since 2018 when it came out, everybody has loved, and it really kick-started the whole FOMO thing. In my view, I think it joined Daytona in the unobtainable ranks, but in a very different way, because from the get-go, from the moment it was announced, it was impossible to get, it seemed. And the video of Theo and Harris, Christian and Michael, who are always good fun to listen to, go into all the details of whether, first, the news, well, it's not really news, the Instagram post is real or not. Why would Rolex release a memo? The most far-fetched theory could be that they just want to flush out an AD they suspect of leaking infos. That's a bit much, but it's true. Why would they announce it at all? And whether if it's real, then what does it mean? And as I was listening to all their theories, I started, of course, looking on the local buy-sell app that we have here in Hong Kong, where individuals and dealers alike post their watches that they want to trade. And looking at the prices of the Pepsi is around just under 20,000 US across the world, really. And it's been quite stable around 145,000 Hong Kong dollar. And then I started realizing, well, there's not that many, even less with the Jubilee, and even less if you get picky about which mark of dial you want. So Mark 1, famously, they didn't get the color right, which in a way is an opportunity. So the Mark 1 was kind of pink with a strange hue for the blue as well. And then they kind of fixed it little by little. I didn't realize there were already 4 different colors for the bezels, but apparently there's already 4 of them. But mainly the first ones were kind of pink and purple, and then it got better. Now, if we look at the vintage market, that kind of irregularity allows dealers to segment mass-produced watch into less mass-produced amount of watches and increase the prices. And the vintage Rolex market has gone probably as far as it can. It's been pretty stable for the past few years for mass-produced watch. And well, it's the same with those bezels. So if you want the maybe the Aero type of bezel, the Mark 1, there's only 1 or 2 production year, maybe 2. And then if you want the correct one, then you have to search for different years, which in itself makes the already hard to obtain Pepsi even harder. And so as I was looking at what's available, if you get picky about the bezel and you want the correct color, you want something post maybe 2020, 2021, there's even less with the Jubilee. And then as I was listening to the video, and Christian was asking Michael, would you buy one? And Michael was saying, nah, I just wait it out. I just focus on something else. And that's something I do a lot. You obsess. I'm sure you too, you guys and me, we obsessed about one specific model and then you pull a trigger or not, and if you don't, after a month you forgot about it and you moved on to 10 other targets, and it didn't really matter in the first place, and sometimes you'll think about it again, but you'll find something else, and you could also decide, okay, I'm gonna get the new two-tone one, or I'm gonna get the CHNR, the root beer, which is just as nice. I like it as much as the Pepsi. Or I want to get the Destro, the Sprite. There's just enough. And the thing is, there's always going to be another one. So the other thing about paying now and paying almost 20 grand for a watch that retails for 10 is that if you pay so much, you're never going to dare wearing it. You wouldn't even dare wearing it if you had it for retail. But if you pay so much, this watch, which was made for traveling, which was answering the call from pilots, well, you're not really going to travel with it, and you're barely going to dare wearing it at the office. And it's so ubiquitous; everybody knows what it is, as much as a Pepsi, as a Daytona. It's almost embarrassing to wear it, because everybody's going to ask you, did you get it at retail? Oh no, oh my God, you paid 20 grand, you're insane. It's almost embarrassing to wear it, but you don't think about it, and as you're looking to buy one, you're just excited, and once you get it, you realize those things. This bowl is quite famous for some reason in Hong Kong. Every Instagrammer comes sometimes early in the morning to take her usually picture in front of it. These days, lots of Instagrammers in Hong Kong taking the same pictures of the same bakeries. It's kind of funny. But anyway, so I came to the conclusion that whether it's true or not, I wouldn't want to buy one for all those reasons. But let's admit this memo does exist. Let's admit it is true. Maybe they do that to give room for something else. And what else could it be than the Coke, of course, the black and red, which everybody quite likes. It's one of my favorite contrasts, and of course the red would remain a problem, but the black is the most stable color on ceramic, and that's a bit the thing, right? Ceramic is not aluminum, and that's why the Tudor colors are much nicer, is because they still use aluminum. I don't know if it's more stable than in the past. The thing, with the vintage ones, the watches were getting the dials, the bezels, were getting damaged a lot faster because the production quality was not at the level where we are now. It seems to me that we have reached, we say that, but I guess in 50 years we'll look at our watches now as vintage and old-fashioned maybe. But it seems to me that we've reached the best we can reach, and we are extremely demanding and extremely lucky to live this period where now the GMT Master 2 is basically bulletproof with incredible build quality, and there's almost nowhere to go, and so much so that almost all the brands are now doing reissues because people visually want that vintage look, and you can't, a brand like Rolex, which hasn't changed really the design from the get-go, because it was perfect. Everything done in the 50s was perfect. Same with cars and guitars. Well, there's not much else that they can do except incremental improvement into the quality, and so I'm sure the R&D will find something to improve on. But the reality is that there will always be probably a GMT Master 2. Having said that, for a while there was no Pepsi, and then they came up with one which was not perfect, and then they changed it. Will those aero bezel be worth more in the future? Not aero bezel, but those pink hue bezel be worth more in the future? I don't know. And when we see the competition, anybody who does that color, is as Michael and Christian of Theo and Harris pointed out, it immediately looks like a ripoff. I think you got to try something else, and that's what Omega did. with the world timer, and the one I got in green with a ceramic bezel with a darker hue. Some YouTuber was saying it's kind of like the watch nobody asked for, but it kind of makes sense a bit more to me than a GMT, which is more of a tool for a pilot. I think most people don't know how to use the bezel, and why would you? Because it doesn't tell you what time it is anywhere else. You need a pilot chart with the relationships of the time zones where you're flying to versus the GMT. So you don't know what time it is going to be when you travel in your destination. So world timer makes more sense. And Omega offers one that has a good water resistance, because you tend to travel to places with where you're gonna maybe get submerged. And the pricing, while in relationship to Omega itself, seems a lot, and there's a big depreciation on those watches. Well, it's still competitive versus the retail pricing of Rolex. So, yeah, at the end of the day, I don't think I'm gonna just give in. I don't like giving in, right? I like to get a value for money, and maybe the value of the Pepsi is 20 grand. Maybe if they do retire it or reduce the production, it will stay, it will rise. But there's so many other watches, and as I'm getting to work, that's the parting thought, is that why obsess for the same one as everybody else when there is so many other watches you can enjoy. Bye bye, guys.